Live from indoors, it's the Every FNFF podcast. I'm your host, Curtis.
I'm Carl Germ.
I'm Alex.
And we got ourselves a special guest today. One, the internet. And two, we have our friend Dave.
I always take the back seat to the internet.
That's true. So we got Dave from the Calling All Creeps podcast. I almost forgot the name of your podcast, which I was just on an episode of.
You're fired. You're off. Never again.
See you guys later.
Retroactively removing Carl from that episode of the podcast.
It's just going to be a lot of... He has the book.
That's the book.
To kind of explain to everyone, we may have a couple of things where we reference things that we can see. I think it's kind of important to just discuss what's going on today. As you're probably aware, there's a global pandemic going on.
We're living in hell world.
We are living full-fledged hell mode. It can only get worse from here somehow, even though this is the worst it's ever been. But we're doing a Zoom meeting that our gracious guest helped us set up, and we're also live on Twitch right now. So we're going to try and keep the visual distractions and the things to a minimum, since we're a radio show, but I feel like it's probably not going to go too well.
I think we'll be good. I think we'll be all right. So Dave, tell us your history with Final Fantasy.
So in middle school, I bought a PlayStation 2 and a 13-inch tube TV. I'd saved up my money to buy both. And so I could buy Vice City, because that was a cool middle school thing to do.
That's a cool any age thing to do.
Right? And then I had an extra, $10. So I went through, and there was the PS2 classics or whatever, or the discounted games, and Final Fantasy X was their greatest hit $10 remake. They would do those every year, the game of the year. So I played Final Fantasy X.
Okay.
Didn't beat it. I think it may have been that Seymour's shirt was so close that I couldn't tell where his skin and his shirt ended, so it kind of upset me. But then he became a big monster on top of a mountain, and they took away some of my characters, so I was fucked. It was use Kamari, and I'm I've been playing with that blue guy forever. I just use Auron. He only needs one arm to fight. Just make him use a second arm, and then he'll be twice as strong. And then after I was done playing the board game to make everybody stronger, I just quit. So
the board game.
No, that'll happen.
It was make Riku go into Yuna's board game. And I was Chutes and Ladders there, Candyland there. I'm not going to add them, but...
Ooh.
So,
well, you should have gone with a Final Fantasy 12, where you're not even allowed to equip things unless you have a license and a permit to do so.
As it should be.
As it should be.
So that really was my only foray into Final Fantasy, especially because I don't know what it was, but as a middle schooler too, even earlier elementary school, I just had this aversion to all things that were pretty much the cool stuff for that time. It was because I didn't find Final Fantasy interesting, because I was against Dragon Ball Z, never watched it. I stayed away from Toonami, everything, and I guess I lumped them all in together to just be I don't own enough UFO pants to like this.
It's fair.
So I never got into it. And it's only now that I watch all of Dragon Ball and started Dragon Ball Z. That's still a bad show it's bad.
My favorite way to ingest Dragon Ball Z is through podcasts about Dragon Ball Z instead of actually having to watch it.
Ooh.
It's way more fun to talk about than it is to watch.
Right, yeah. I listened to a podcast where they constantly referred to everything in Dragon Ball Z using wrestling terms and comparing it to wrestlers, and I was yes, this does make sense. Everything about this show does make sense.
Nappa is quite the big show.
And I guess Vegeta is the little big show.
But yeah, so that was basically it. And then more recently with Carl and the podcast, he said, hey, this podcast is kind of coming into fruition. And then before I knew it, there was already 10 episodes. So I was listening and kind of letting you guys tell me about it like a storybook. And I was I will never play Final Fantasy VII. And then Carl bought me Final Fantasy VII. And he said, play, catch up, so that you can be on an episode. I named Cloud Goku, which seems to make sense.
I think we tweeted that out as well. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so.
In the Aerith or Eris chat, I named her Eric. I named, it's tough for me to remember their name. Barrett, I named Glover because he had strong Danny Glover vibes.
Oh, I was going to the N64 game that we all know.
Barrett was one day to retirement.
Pretty much.
Cool, but yeah, so what did we do last time?
Yeah, we're here talking about Final
time-
Fantasy. That's what we do.
Yeah,
You know,
Final Fantasy 1.
It's been a minute since we got together.
Yeah, and
recorded.
kind of just going back again to like the COVID-19 crisis that's going on right now. We banked up a couple of episodes for basically to kind of help Alex out with, you know, not giving him like 3-hour episodes to siphon through and make funny and give him like less than a week's time to edit and everything. So we were really good. We were on top of everything. We were ahead of schedule. And then all this shit kind of hit and threw all our plans kind of out the window. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's been a minute since we've recorded, and we're gonna be a little loose on the ones and twos today. I feel like so.
A little loosey goosey.
And it's also
Yeah.
weird that we're all in a different room. I don't think we've ever had a podcast like this set up before, where all of us are in different rooms.
Well, I have you on my pretty large monitor, so we're closer than we've ever been, baby.
it's true. That's very
Yes, it
true.
is.
I have the same setup here.
But last we recorded, we had just finished with the Marsh Caves, retrieved a crown.
That fucking cave.
I guess we're going down to Elfberg.
Elfberg, yeah.
Well, we went to Elfheim and everything.
We talked to the king and all that. We found out
Yeah.
kind of nothing. We
There's
didn't even find out about the cave. We just kind of went there, right?
Yeah, there's really nothing telling you to even go to the cave. And, like, the only pointer that says, like, oh, we need to go find this crown is if you go to that castle, the solitary castle in the north, and that king there's like, oh, I've lost my crown, you know, and you're like, oh,
Right.
poor guy, that sounds real rough.
Yeah, which is really missable because, like, that area is very aggressive. So I was just like, I need to, like, first thing I see, first place of cover I see, I'm going. So I, like, found the marsh cave first and went in there. And that place was no less aggressive. But we kicked the shit out of those wizard guys.
Yeah.
And we got the
Those
crown.
definitely not mind flayers.
Yeah, exactly. Those things that are something completely different than mind flayers.
But yeah, so we get the crown. And I did go back to Elfheim first, but no one says anything. Like, I even went to, like, the prince, and I was like, Prince, I've got the crown, and everybody's just like, oh, the prince is asleep, and I'm like, oh, well.
Yeah, they're like,
Not that excited
Right.
about it.
right. We got the trying to remember the order of things we have to do.
It kind of just gets into like a weird fetch quest with like no
Yeah.
instruction, where it's like, okay, you start to slowly gather all the ingredients of all the things that you've needed before. Like, we heard about the crown, so we have the crown, so we can go and give it to that guy that we met who lost his crown, and then he'll give us an item that we've heard about before a couple episodes ago, and we can go there and stuff. So it's basically just backtracking the episode, but
Yeah. So we should
Very
go
Link's
to the
Awakening.
castle, and we should give that guy his crown.
that spooky castle.
He seems like a good guy.
Yeah, I got a good feeling about
I
this guy.
got a good feeling about that guy in the castle. Yeah. So yeah, I small point, but I noticed when I walked up to the castle, like, and I'm playing on the NES, and the NES's tile set is limited, but this is my favorite part of the overworld thus far. There's rivers all over the place, and forests and grasslands, and I was like, yo, this is like I'm able to suspend my disbelief and be like, this is a wonderful area that I'm walking through, like, very magical. I can believe it. I'm there. I just close my eyes and I'm there. But yeah, there's that solitary king sitting in his castle with the bats.
Yeah, tons of bats. They all say key.
They do say key. It's like they know what's stored in that castle.
Yeah, it's like that thing that we've been needing since episode 1.
So
Maybe it
yeah,
was episode 2, I don't know.
out of curiosity, in anybody else's game, when you talk to the king, are there any more than one dialogue box that's not immediately hilarious?
I think I do, yeah.
Because mine is one dialogue box.
We should also talk to Dave about what version are you playing, Dave? The MSX one, right?
Game Boy Advance.
Hell yeah.
Oh, look at it right there. I see it in his
on.
hands.
You can see it right
Alright.
there.
Okay, so you're playing the same version I am.
Yes.
Did your batteries die?
That's what I've been nervous about. I turned it off because there's a point in my notes where I'm like, oh, batteries died. Time to stop. It's like, I get more double
The
A's.
ultimate final boss, the GBA's batteries.
It truly is. And
unbeatable.
You got to get those Duracell rechargeable ones. That's the pro strat.
with the previous episode, you were talking about how the save is most likely on here, like where you can save anywhere, even on the world map.
Yeah, like the memo or whatever.
Well, no, not even memo. You can just save wherever you want.
Oh, that's
this one,
nice.
which is
Yeah.
super helpful.
Yeah. I'm glad that became a standard of the series because, like, goddamn, I wish I had that. Damn, God, I wish that were
Well,
me.
oh, you mean a standard of the series that you can save on the world map? Yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can save
Yeah.
anywhere in this, which is great because like sometimes I'm like, I've had too much of this shit. I need to. It's just like,
Can't
a
handle
lot.
this right now.
especially after the cave.
You're like Animal Crossing New Horizons just dropped. I have to fucking stop grinding these goddamn
No, literally,
goblins.
that's why I got this all done. I grinded through everything, and then Animal Crossing came out the next day, and I was like, made it.
Yeah, we've been going back and forth for a couple of weeks about this episode, and like Dave got ahead of me in this playthrough. He was like, "Oh yeah, I got here." I was like, "Oh, like you're way ahead of me," and he was like, "Yeah, I don't want to risk having to do this while New Horizons."
He
Animal
had
Crossing New Horizons
he had
is
to
out."
spend all of his time in FF1 fighting all those tarantulas so that he could go play Animal Crossing and fight all those fucking tarantulas.
Experience
Yeah,
comes through.
you were ready for it when Animal
Yeah,
Crossing came
I'm
out.
also level 20 in Animal Crossing.
Ooh, hell yeah!
What levels are you guys at this point? I guess
Ooh,
Oh,
that's a good
gosh.
question.
I don't
Because
know.
at this point, so yeah, like before I did anything for today's episode, I went to the Peninsula of Power that we've talked about before, and I kind of just grinded up there, and I got to level 11, I think, is when I started like my honest playthrough of this section.
I just checked my game, and at the end of this section, I'm level 11. Yeah,
Nice.
but
Make a wish.
I refuse to say my level.
All right, Alex,
69.
tell us what the king says. in
Real
your-
quick. I want to talk to Dave about his level because he texted me about when he went to fight the wizards in the marsh cave. What level were you at when you did that, Dave?
I don't remember. What was I?
I'm pretty sure you texted me. You're like, yeah, I don't know if I'm leveled up enough, but I'm like level 15. Jesus Christ, dude.
So right now, I just finished. I'm at the point this episode I was told it would end. I'm level 20. Because Carl was
Insane.
like, "Hey, dude, it gets real tough." And on your podcast, you were like, "Yeah, there's a certain point where you just have to grind." So I was grinding.
was a
Just
grind he did.
I was a perfect Bob Burnquist, and I just grinded my way
Ooh,
straight
Davey,
through.
when we're grinding, I get so excited.
Yeah. But of course, my black mage is level 19 because he was a little
He gets knocked out.
hurt and had to take a seat.
Yeah.
he was
That happened to me as well, where I was going through and I think there was like the Minotaur enemies or something, like the Necromancer
Yeah.
Minotaurs or whatever they're called. And like it was insane. I couldn't believe it. Like I was like, okay, Black Mage is all the way at the bottom of my party, least likely to get hit. And they just both fucking rolled up and hit him twice. And I was like, you motherfuckers, how dare you?
I'm
Not
gonna-
my sweet precious Vivi.
I'm gonna go back 5 seconds and make a joke that I wanted to make.
Do it up.
Dave was a good Bob Burnquist and grinded it all out, and I've been a good Rodney Mullen and did all my fighting on the flat.
Yes.
Wait, no, it can happen.
So what you're gonna want to do when you're oh hell yeah. I love how it's like not
It's
coming through
so
at all.
soft.
I hope it's coming through more in
delightful.
his
That was more of like a tech deck soundtrack. It was just like a little light, little background. I loved it.
So if you're playing through as with the Black Knight in the party, you're going to want to jump over the gap and grab the secret tape, and that's going to be important later when we get to the next town.
Yeah, that's right. All right, this fucking king.
Yeah. So Alex, do you want to take it away with the fucking crown?
Oh yeah, so we give this king his crown as he's so well deserved. Let's see. This is actually my first time meeting him, so I actually didn't meet him the first time.
Same.
So, mwahaha,
Yep.
you fools fell right into my trap. I am Astos, king of the dark elves.
What
and
a
then
dick.
he transforms into Astos, king of the dark elves.
Yeah.
He looks like a Machop.
Yeah, that's literally what he says. In my game, he says, I am Astos, king of the Dark Elves. I have Matoya's crystal, and you will give me that crown.
Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
In mine, he says, "Ha, fools! I am the great king of dark elves, Astos. Thank you ever so much for retrieving the crown. With the crystal eye here, I shall become the true elf king." And then he said, "Oh yeah, you fools have served your purpose. To the underworld you will go."
Ooh.
And then you fight him.
It's not quite a I will knock you down, but I'll accept it.
Yeah, it's not quite as good as that. But.
Yeah, and Dave and I's version it says, "With the combined power of the crown you now hold and the crystal eye I already possess, I will become the true elf king." Again, it fleshes it out a little bit, makes it more cohesive, and then saying, "I got the eye, you got the crown, let's do this."
I got the peanut butter, you got the chocolate.
You got eye on my crown. You
Sugar,
got crown all
spice,
over my eye.
and everything nice.
So there's a lot of like subtext that's missing in this game.
Yes.
Yeah.
From what I'm
There's
realizing.
literally no subtext. Look, I know authors who use subtext, and they're all cowards.
No, but like he's just like
Garth
with
Marenghi
this
reference.
eye and with this crown, and just like what are you gonna do with the eye? Like what are you gonna do with the crown? Like all
Yeah,
this
like
stuff,
how
it
is he
could be
gonna
anything.
become like? Yeah.
Like
I don't
people
know.
are gonna see me with my real cool eye and crown and be like, you know what? That's what a king looks like.
He's got a whole campaign planned out around
Look
it.
at his king costume.
He's ordering me around, telling me what to do, and I didn't believe he was the king. But then I saw his crown and that eye, and I mean that's got to be him.
His sprite is pretty cool though in my game.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, so he transforms in ours. I'm not sure if he does an NES version, but he turns into kind of an impish kind of demon blue thing with a ugly purple horn.
So this
He
is
looks
the
like a chop.
We haven't been to this game yet, but when we get to Final Fantasy IV, there is a dark elf as a boss in that game as well, and this is the same sprite, except on my version it's like an 8-bit version of that 16-bit sprite. So they actually like updated it from the NES one when they made the SNES one, and that's like the first time I've noticed like an up-res in the game.
Ooh,
Wow.
ooh, that's real nice. Ooh,
Look at
this
that
is
good
nice.
team right there. Look at that good HP.
World.
Yeah, so I said I didn't want to share my my level because I used a Game Shark.
Hell yeah.
I had very limited time, even though I was in quarantine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like you've had
Awesome.
less free time in quarantine.
Well, I guess so. I have a job now.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
You've been busting much like a character we'll meet in this
We'll
episode.
soon know to love.
That was my next question. Is the very first move he uses is death.
Yeah. Is it called death in your game?
It is called rub.
Rub?
He rubs one out right on you. Which would make me want to die as well.
He's heard tell of an old busting rock, so he had to rub one out.
Oh, Grandpa, always busting on his rock.
Yeah, I think it's called Reaper in my game, but yeah, he instantly used it. Which one of your characters did he hit?
None of them he missed.
Nice.
He did go after
insane.
the fighter, though.
Oh, really? That would have sucked.
Yeah.
He got my thief.
Did he?
Yeah, so my thief I wasn't able to use that much in the battle, but I mean the whole reason you have a thief on your team is so that you can run away from
Run
battles
away,
anyway.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm not
That's
doing
cool.
that in this one.
I
All right,
thought I
well-
was slick, and I was like, this guy knows magic. I casted silence, and it failed.
Oh.
And then he casted death, and it failed. So we were like, good
Nice,
to go.
break even.
We were good.
We're good, right? We're good. We're even.
fine.
He does use some pretty crazy magic though.
Yeah. So this dude can be a real MF, but I got lucky. I think he only had 2 turns to attack, and I just rolled out damage each time, and I think he missed both times. So I was just like, "Ooh, fingers crossed, we did it." I'm taking that
yeah.
as I'm taking the win there.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I tried using Dia or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, he might be like kind of an undead enemy. I'm not sure. It did nothing. I was like, fuck. wasted a high level spell.
In the previous town, because Aya worked a lot, but then once you get, what's the second one? It's like diarrhea. Then you
yeah,
can.
it's
I-
diarrhea aga.
Yeah, diarrhea was like my best move for my white mage. She was spraying tons of fools.
Spraying tons of fools with diarrhea.
It was great. She's got a good
They
name. so-
that's actually what the move Swamp Shoot is in Final Fantasy VII.
Live fast, diarrhea young.
Leave a beautiful corpse. So we kick this guy's ass.
Yeah.
We
We
take
put
him
him
down.
up. He's done.
He's really
I'm sure
not-
Dave had no problem.
It was one turn.
Says the guy with maxed out stats. Says old Game Shark Alex over there.
Old Game Shark Alex.
It's the game genie himself.
But yeah, you get the crystal eye that we've heard about from pretty much since the first town, I think.
Yeah. And in my game, so it doesn't announce that you got the crystal eye. The battle's done, and I was like, what happens now? Like, what happens? And I was like walking around like trying to find more treasure like in his castle or something, and I was like, did it fuck up? Like, what happened? And like I had to go to my key items and just see that crystal was there, and I was like, oh, okay.
I don't know why I keep getting surprised by how shitty the NES version is, but like anytime you say anything, I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and on the Game Boy Advance version, it's just the whole like, you got the crystal eye after defeating Astos.
Yeah, I think there might be like
It goes bow, 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 bow.
Yeah, I think there might be like a victory animation where like your
Spins
overworld
around.
sprite just like spins around and like puts his fists up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so now we kind of have the next piece of the puzzle to go where we're going next. Which,
Yeah, we've met
we know
Matoya.
that Matoya. Yeah,
Yeah.
she needs the crystal eye. So now we got to trek all the way back across the sea and then all the way through like forests and shit again to give her the crystal eye.
Yeah.
So I did this the wrong order. I actually went to Matoya first.
Yeah.
I think
Or
I
something
actually
like that.
did the same thing.
Same.
No, wait. I went to the dwarf caves first, and then realized like, oh wait, I have to go to Matoya's or something like that. I forget. I did something.
Oh
really
no,
random.
I know what happened. I went to Matoya, gave her the crystal eye. We'll talk about that, and then I ended up going back to her later, even though you don't have to. And I was like, fuck, because I was getting into so many encounters on the way, and I was just like, I just want to be done with this.
So, you can do this in all different versions of the game. So, you know how like Elfheim is not really that far away from Corneria because it's just like it's just south.
like a
of it,
straight
right?
shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you pass the dock up in Cornelia, and you go to the right and you kind of hug the coast, that bridge that the king built, like in our second episode of the thing, you can go underneath it, and then you can go further up and dock like right next to Matoya's cave, and so you can get there pretty quickly.
That's how I found her originally.
I took the long way.
And underneath the bridge,
Sorry, what?
long way down. That's Goo Goo Dolls. I know Dave knows what I'm talking about.
Hey, dude, you like some goo?
Listening to some goo, nothing better
Listen
than
to some
a
goo.
long day of work.
Listening to some
Dimming
goo.
the lights,
Dim
putting
the
on
lights,
some of the
listen to some
goo.
goo. I used to follow the goo in my PT Cruiser on their 2003 tour. Just have a few blue moons, just catch the goos. It's good.
I didn't think they were gonna play Long Way Down and then wham, double encore.
That's it. Well, bam, second encore.
You guys like puka shells?
You kids ever seen drugs up close?
What are you guys talking about?
I don't know. Cabin fever is started to set in.
Yeah.
We're talking about the goo, and you will show the goo respect. I cry every time I hear Iris.
Is Goo one of the enemies in your version of this?
Yeah. That was one we were
Dragon
running away
Quest.
from in the Marsh Cave.
They're the Dragon Quest enemy that we all know and love.
The metal goo. All right, so Matoya.
She's kind of a piece of shit, right?
Yeah. Oh, and Toya?
In my version, she is. Like, you give her the crystal eye, and she's kind of a real asshole about it.
I mean, she's tolerable. I mean, I get it, man. She's been without her eye, whatever, you know.
No, I get it, but
this
like,
quarantine is making us
no
all
respect.
crabby, and so you could imagine if you were just like living
It's
with
true,
only
she-
brooms.
She had been self-isolating for a long time. I should be a little more kind. But so she in my version of the game, she says, "Is that my crystal eye? Give it to me. Here, I'll give you the most wondrous potion from my collection." And then you get the jolt tonic, and then she says,
Yep.
now I can see everything. Now get out of here. I have nothing else for you.
Yeah.
And like, if you keep talking to her, like she just keeps saying that, like, I have nothing else for you. Like, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like, hey, thanks for retrieving this thing. Thanks for fighting a dark elf king and getting this. Get the fuck out. Don't let the door hit you. On the
Yeah.
way
So
out.
on the Game Boy Advance version is if you talk to her again, she's, "You still here? I don't need you anymore. So be on your way. Humph. You're not even as attractive as I thought you'd be."
Yes.
Damn.
Oh, that's so good.
Damn.
And she sucks because, like, she's so irresponsible as a person. Because, like, we're given two eyes to see with. So if she had one eye left and it was crystal and lost it, Like, come on, you get 2 chances.
Yeah, I guess this kind of goes back to like what Astos's like intentions were or whatever, where like it's like why he needed the crystal eye in the first place to be like the true king or whatever, where it's like, did he just go there and like steal it or something? Or like,
I think that we can infer that the crystal eye is needed to make that good herb, and and the dark elf the dark elf just didn't want to pay for it anymore.
yeah.
I think that Astos and Matoya had a one-night stand. She left it in her little glass of like
where there's originals,
or a denture cleaning fluid. But
strawberry, there's strawberry
dentures in her eye, and he just yoinked it on his way out.
I don't know how gross you guys get, but on this podcast, but all I'm saying is if it's a one-night stand and she had it out for a different reason. Also, does she give herb? She gave a can of Jolt soda from the 90s in ours.
Yeah.
I got the Jolt too.
It was
so
Jolt
wait,
tonic.
was Jolt a soda in the 90s? Because I had the same thought. I was thinking of Surge though.
Yeah.
Oh, there was Jolt.
No, I think Jolt Cola was a thing.
Yeah. It was no
Jolt.
Surge, but it was still. You could probably use that for a gin bucket as well, and it would probably be pretty good.
Rot yourself from the inside out.
I think you can still get Jolt. I could be wrong.
You might be able to. I know you can still get Surge. Like when I was in the Midwest on tour, I was able to like stop at a gas station and get some Surge. But I think since then they've kind of also been around more.
I found out right now at this point in the game that even
Curtis
the
just
NES
takes out a Jolt and drinks it.
I even found out at this point in the game that the NES actually has item descriptions that I didn't know, but if you go to your key items and select them, you'll actually get like item descriptions. And I was like, oh, it's like Dark Souls.
This is where we get the lore about the one night stand between Astos and Matoya.
But it just says, yuck, this medicine is too bitter. And I was like, oh, grow up and smoke some weed.
Grow up and smoke some weed.
I say as somebody who does not smoke weed.
I imagine you going to like a high school and be like, and now Curtis will give his speech. And he's like, grow up.
And now this is the part of the game where you can be Bob Burnquist and do an old bitter handstand. And of course I'm going to have to mention a grab.
Anyway, we got the Jolt Cola.
Yeah, we go back to Elfheim, or Elfland in my game. And we give it to the prince. Or actually, I guess we give it to the chancellor?
Yeah.
We read the Chandler, got it.
The Chandler.
The Chandler.
Not the Ross. The Ross
give the Ross
is
to the
also
Chandler.
a dark elf.
Yeah.
He's the dark elf that will transform and instantly fuck up your fighter with death.
There's Ast Ross, and we have to give the herb to the Chandler.
Ast Ross. Oh my god.
And yeah, so the prince wakes up and just says, oh no, sorry, the chancellor says, thank you, peace will return to Elfland. And then the prince says, is this a dream? Are you the light warriors? Is this for real? So, as the legend says, I will give you the mystic key. Which, man, that makes me wonder all kinds of things about why in the world Cornelia locked up their treasury with a mystic key. If there was a prophecy that like the elf prince was just sleeping on it the whole time. He just had it in his back pocket and he was laying on his back. Nobody knows where the mystic key is.
Yeah.
Because I thought somebody in the castle was like, oh, we've lost the mystic key.
Yeah, and
I thought they gave it to someone 500 years ago, right?
Well, like, what locksmith 500 years ago? Like, he went from town to town, and they're going to be like, I got this mithril crap, and I don't want anyone to get it. And he's be like, listen, there's this one key I got. He's like, and I got the door for it. There's only one key. No one's going to find it. And they're like, give me that one. Like, because why does this one key work so many different places?
Yeah, I know.
I don't get it.
yeah, it's very annoying. Like, I mean, I guess like thinking back of like the time of the game, like it would maybe be cool that you're like, oh well, I can go back, but like especially in this episode where there's so much backtracking to just like get to the next point of the game where you can make progress, it's like a little like I wanted to go through and get like every mystic key door open, and then like I realized that there were still some in the marsh cave, and I was like, yo, fuck that place, I'm not going down 3 floors of that shit. Like,
I was like, I'm
whatever's
not going
in there
back.
I don't care what silver weapon or whatever they have in there, it's not worth it right now.
Do you know what you get there?
I think it is like a better sword.
You get a little bit of weaponry that you can already have, that you've already been able to purchase.
Fuck
Yeah,
that.
you go there and you get like a dagger, and you're like, God damn it.
Once
And
I
I guess
knew
we'll-
that was not part of what we were covering, I literally like ran in, beat the boss, ran out. I was like, I'm not opening doors. I'm not doing anything. This
Yeah,
sucks.
yeah, you're fine.
Respect.
Yeah.
I looked at the
speed
map. I
run.
cheated.
So real quick before we go to break, I figure we'll go over some of the treasure chests that we can get.
Sure.
Because of the Mystic Key.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, you're asking, like, why can this one key open a lot of doors? And I feel like the equivalent of that in Zelda would just be, oh, you got bombs now. You can open up those cracked walls.
Or the
Yeah.
equivalent in Zelda would be the skeleton key, I think it's called in the original Zelda, where it's got like the little lion head where you just don't need to get small keys anymore.
Oh yeah, like in
interesting.
Skyrim. when
Although
you
it doesn't,
complete the
that
thieves'
analogy
quest.
doesn't really make sense. But before we do that, I will say like the dialogue that I have, because it's slightly different. It just says the Jolt tonic, the Jolt cola. This will surely awaken the prince. We must try it at once. Then he cracks it open, and then it just kind of plays like a cutscene of like the screen kind of just goes to white, and then the prince like opens his eyes and blinks a couple times, and the chancellor says, "Your Highness, oh, it seems as if I was caught in a never-ending dream. Am I still dreaming, or do I see the legendary warriors? It is not a dream. Then the time has come to pass the Mystic Key to his rightful master, as foretold by legend." And then you get the Mystic Key. We
Nice.
cannot thank you enough for your deeds, brave ones. You have brought peace back to Elfheim. And then if you talk to the elf prince again, he says, "I am awake and strong again. My thanks to you, crystal warriors." I was like, one, I don't think we're called that, and two, like, I feel like your body would be pretty atrophied at that point.
I love that he's been out of it for so long. Because how many years has he been asleep? They say it, right?
Well,
Hasn't he
they
been
say
asleep
that
for, like-
the key was like 500 years old or something, but
It could be an heirloom.
they
know
might
why-
say how long.
Yeah, I don't know why I felt like I bumped into an NPC that's like, he's been asleep for like a year or something.
13 years
Yeah.
tonight.
But I feel like he came out of his coma and was just kind of, everyone was just like, yeah, man, the coronavirus. And he's just like, yeah, dude, viruses are rough, right? Like, he's just,
I just
trying
kinda
to
like-
fit in.
I kind of like his moxie to just be like, yo, I'm awake and strong again. Like, I have, no matter how sound of
No,
asleep
Carl, it
I've
was
had-
Joel.
Oh, yeah, it was the Jolt, but
It wasn't Moxie. It wasn't
yeah,
Moxie.
it wasn't Moxie. It was Sparks. But like, I've never had a sleep where I've woken up the next day and been like, yo, I feel strong as hell. Like, I always feel like such dog shit in the morning. Like, there's no way.
I wake up and I'm just like, oh, fucking fuck, yeah. All right, so things you can get. So right there in the town of Elfland, you can get a silver hammer, exciting, and some money. So I love to see it.
You have to
You
hug
love
the
to
walls.
see it.
That was weird.
Yeah,
Did you do the same thing that
yeah.
we did? Because it's so close to the like out of bounds that would send you out to the world map, so you have to like
Mm-hmm.
hug the walls to get to that back little shed.
Yeah. You have to-
Yeah,
yeah.
I
Keep it
was
in the
surprised
shed.
by that.
Yeah.
Same in Cornelia. It's the same layout, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They kind of hug the outside.
You're
perimeter
able to get
find-
to it in Cornelia inside the castle, but you do
Oh,
have
weird.
to take that hallway that goes like all the way around to the back. Yeah. Good thing I'm playing on emulator and have a fast forward button because I was like, Jesus.
I was really hurting for a fast forward button, for a 3 times speed button this episode because of all the backtracking.
Same.
I was like, I will fuck up every one of these goblins. I do not need to keep encountering them. There was one point where I was walking on the world map and I literally like got into an encounter of like just nothing enemies that I could have destroyed. So I ran away from them and then I walked one tile more and I got instantly into another like encounter. I was like, fuck, I have homework to do. I need to finish this. I don't have time.
This game is trash.
But in Cornelia, we
Yes.
find a key item, I think.
We do.
In one of the treasure
Yeah.
rooms.
In mine, it is the TNT.
Dynamite.
Oh, nice.
We got the nitrous powder, or nitro powder, right?
The
Yeah, that's what
nitrous.
we got.
More drug references for.
Oh, I was thinking
This-
press R3 to use your nitrous to boost.
Yeah, I was like,
Oh, Curtis.
I was like in Need for Speed Underground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too, guys. Me too. Yeah, I think it's called the nitro powder in mine. Yeah, the nitro powder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is TNT
Shredding
like,
that fresh powder.
Maybe TNT just feels too like modern, maybe contemporary. They're like, we need something that sounds a little more mystical, like powders and
Yeah.
that sweet
I-
boom juice.
Yeah, I feel like later on, the old boom juice. That's the new word for piss this season.
Oh man, that's both number 1 and number 2 is boom juice.
Somebody used Diara.
Diara.
That's what it's called in the game, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I've been calling it diarrhea the whole time.
Wait, is it actually called Diara?
Yeah.
Oh my
Dia
God.
becomes Diara.
Oh my god. I thought you were just making a hilarious joke.
No.
That's so good.
Diara is the second level. I guess it becomes Diaraga, which from now on, that's all I'm calling it.
When you have like
I'd
a
be
real
like-
bad case of it.
Sorry, I got bad Diaraga.
You've been eating too much ramen while you're on self isolation in quarantine. You just get a bad bout of diaraga.
Diaraga.
I told you guys the prophecy fulfilled itself. I told you we were gonna find the new word for swamp shoot in live stream, and we did it.
Did any of you go get the chests in the solitary castle? Or the castle of
Yes,
solitude? or
yes,
whatever?
I did.
Did you notice that
Western Keep?
The
I think.
Western Keep.
the Western Keep? Did you notice that the tiles in front of the treasure chests are traps?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a little Sen's Fortress action.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
You step on them and they put you into a battle with various enemies.
So I said I did. But I actually did not. The only thing I got from there, I was like, oh, I'll get that later.
Yeah.
It's like I don't feel like backtracking anymore.
So if you go get those items, then you'll get into fights with images. Is one of them? They're like little ghosts, and these are the NES names. And mummies.
Yes! I'm getting so excited. It's the best spray. Look at these mummies.
Yeah.
Oh,
Look
they
at
look
them.
so good.
They're just
They're
like
slob
waking up.
squatting.
They're like, yeah.
They're hoarding all the toilet paper.
And then wraiths. Wraiths were the
Oh yeah, awesome.
mummies,
Hell
wraiths. Oh, there's Astos. Yeah.
That's
Very
amazing.
creepy.
Hell
Man,
yeah.
I love those
Oh, sweet.
mummies.
So on your version, you have the gallery thing too, like the bestiary or whatever.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
like
we got-
bestiality thing. But
Yeah, that's what they call it.
I think so. Yeah, but yeah, it's cool.
But yeah, you can get like a power staff here, which is dope, and some gauntlets for different characters. But I noticed in the NES version, I don't know about the later ones, it doesn't remove the event from that tile once you've fought the enemy. So you
Oh my
walk
God.
up into the front of the first chest and grab it and you fight some enemies. You walk left to the second chest and fight some enemies. You walk right to go back to the other one, but you fight enemies again in front of the first chest.
Yes. I
So I
think
was
we
like,
had
what a-
gargoyles.
What a
too.
strug.
Gargoyles
It's
too.
quite the strug.
It's quite the strug. But yeah, you can get silver swords, some iron armor, depending on where you're going. The Temple of Chaos actually has a rune sword and a wear sword.
Yeah, that I really like these items. I don't know how much use I'm gonna get out of them, but I like that there's like a thing in the game where like the wear sword is better against like werewolf enemies,
Right.
and the rune sword is better against dragon enemies. Am I correct on that? Or no, that's one that we
No.
get later.
The worm buster. In
The
our
worm-
game,
yeah.
they're called
The-
busters.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
We get a werebuster.
Busters make me feel good.
Yeah. But there in that castle, we get the rune blade, werebuster, and a good needle.
Nice.
It's called a good needle.
A good needle. It's
I don't
gold
know.
needle.
Did I just write that down? Hold on. Let me check this game.
That is what I'm calling it from now on.
It's
when I play
definitely the
Final
good
Fantasy.
needle.
Come back to me. I wrote good needle in my notes.
In my game, it's called a gold needle,
It's gold needle, yeah.
which still like
No, I love
it's
it.
kind of confusing because it's like it
Could've
cures
autocorrected.
stone, right? Like if you get turned to
Yes.
stone, you use the,
Yes.
the good needle.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like the good weed, but for a much worse drug.
I'm sure that has some kind of like mythical connotation. Like there's probably some fairy tale or myth in which a gold
Yeah.
needle cures petrification, but I'm just not familiar with it offhand.
Yeah,
It autocorrected. It's gold needle.
good finger. The song Superman by Good Finger.
Supperman by Good Finger.
Okay,
Good,
Superman
nimble finger.
by good finger.
Oh man,
I feel like that's a
So-
pretty good thing to go take a break
yeah.
on.
There's never been a better
I'm gonna
time.
go take a mystic pee.
Yeah, go take a
mystic
boom
pee.
juice in the Temple of
boom
Chaos.
juice.
I'm gonna go take a diaraga.
So, if we are exiting Cornelia, right? Like, we've done the Mystic Key thing. We've grabbed a bunch of items from different places.
We got the nitrous.
We got the yeah. Importantly, you get the nitrous or the TNT, depending on which version you're playing. And head to the west from there. Like on the actually not on the land. You do need to get on your boat and then go past where the Temple of Chaos is and dock at the closest dock. And from there you can see a cave. That's our next area that we're going to, and that is the Dwarven Cave.
Oh, I stopped by
Ooh,
there.
is that what it's called in yours?
I stopped by there on the way home.
I got there when on my way. I got lost. I ended up there.
I got a hoagie.
Yeah, I think in mine it's called Mount Druger.
Oh, really?
Druger. I'm not sure how to pronounce it because,
It's make believe.
That's awesome.
yeah, it's make believe and doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
Because
seen
some guy
both.
did it for the job.
For some reason, with this episode, I kept fucking up east and west. So I kept hearing like, "Oh, you must go west. You must go west."
No,
I was like, "But I've
heading
already been
east.
all the way over there." Like, I don't know why I've been. Like, usually that's not a problem, but good and dumb this season. Or this, this episode.
good,
well, I guess
good
this
and
season
dumb.
as well.
So, does anybody have any good dialogue from these dwarves?
There's a lot of good dialogue in this dwarven cave.
One of them.
I think we talked about this last week, but I
love-
like the.
I love their friggin' like pirate talk they all have in mine at least.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
know
like
the- I
the
don't know
first
the
thing
accent.
that they say. The first thing that they say when you walk in is just rally ho, and then he like does a little animation where he like jumps up and spins.
Do they say what? How do they talk in yours, Curtis?
It's pretty straight up. It's just normie text. But I know that starting at least in the American releases, starting with FF2 or FF4, they started giving them accents after that.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah.
Yeah, I talked to a guy I was really loving. He's like, "Have you blethered with our Smith? Smith? He's in the smithy. he is."
Smith, yeah.
Our Smith, Will Smith. No, but yeah, one of them says, "Have you spoken with with Smith the Smith," which is Smyth, which is confusing because when that's a last name, it's pronounced Smythe. So I don't think they intended for it to be Smythe, but I have family members named Smythe.
Really?
So, yeah. I mean, it has an E at the end, but that doesn't really matter.
That's awesome.
One of them was basically just reciting the opening monologue. The earth has started to rot. It began in the west and now it decay spreads.
like an old man trying to return soup at the deli. In multiple times, like I've said, that when we buy items in the NES version, it's not really clear what the items are from the symbols. There's literally a dwarf in this town that just says the O symbol, or like the bracelet or whatever. He goes, the O ... The bracelet can protect you like armor. And I was like, oh, that's what that is. Thank you.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah, I
I
think he just says in mine like the armlet can act as armor or something, and I'm like, okay, thanks.
In ours, they just dance.
I've had armlets equipped this whole time. Thank you.
Yeah.
One of them says, that sound, Narek is digging a canal. And so apparently there's someone named Narek, and they're digging a canal.
Oh, is Narek in your game? That makes sense because in mine he's Nelik,
Okay.
which is I mean I think this has
R's,
kind of been a
L's.
common theme this season. RL, Japanese translation.
Nareth in mine.
Nareth. Nareth.
There was a real good piece of text. Somebody said, I'm looking for a floater.
I mean, this does beg the question. If you're digging a canal, I don't think digging it from underground is the safest way to go about doing that.
No, I know.
It's like the number 1 rule of Minecraft, like don't dig directly
Straight
down.
Yeah.
It's crazy that I was thinking Minecraft immediately as well.
They're not making a tunnel. They're not making. If they're making a tunnel, that'd be one thing. Like if this was one of the subway tunnels, like
Right,
in New York or whatever.
right.
But like they're like, now we're gonna make a canal, but we're gonna make it collapse from.
Yeah. The
above
way
us.
that we're making the canal is to make the land above it collapse down.
It's like taking apart a bunk bed from the bottom.
It's the most efficient way.
Yeah.
But seriously, I mean, we all know that Minecraft is a great game. Hatsune Miku put a lot of hard work into it, and it really paid off for her. So,
Put her on the map.
We played way too much drunk Minecraft.
yeah,
That's
it's been a
an
while since
extreme.
we've done that. We should do that.
Oh, man, I
Lord.
would love to have an every FF Minecraft server. That'd be great.
Let's fucking do it.
I'm
Dave
so
and I have
good.
a religion in Minecraft. We worship a what are they called? Mushrooms.
mushrooms.
Oh, the
yeah.
mushrooms. Yeah.
We
This is rare.
wanted to go on adventures when we were playing Minecraft when it launched on Switch, and we just started going across the ocean. We're like, okay, let's start. And Dave was like, oh, I think we should go here to start our adventure. There's a tiny little island there. And he's like, oh, you know what? On second thought, like, this probably won't be the most exciting start to our adventure. I was like, nah, fuck it, let's go. So we went there and we found mushrooms, and it's the first time we saw them. We're like, oh my god! And we just started worshiping it and like made like giant like crosses for it, and we just call it the Lord and stuff.
We realized we're like, if we need to make a civilization, what's the first thing we need? We're like, a religion. So we find this cow, and we're like, should this be our god? And we're like, yeah, why not? And so there's a whole server,
As you do.
and there's signs and stuff that's just like, gaze upon our Lord and die. And there's like churches, and you could like drink upon the Lord's milk in this like tomb that you could dig through. It's like really fucked up, but also it's Minecraft. So, and I set that server online. I think it changed now that the Switch has a subscription, but people were able to visit that town without like destroying our stuff if they wanted. So they would go across and see the whole story of our church and random things that we built.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
There's like a Mount Rushmore of the cow's head staring down at the island from the top of the mountain. It's good. It's good. That's my
That's
Final
incredible.
Fantasy.
I love that.
That was the original Final Fantasy.
It's true.
That game that we did like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I love that
Hungover.
so much. All right.
So we're here in the mines.
Right.
So we're on the high wind.
So just again, there is somebody looking for a floater that will come back later.
Yeah, and I guess the version that I have in that is I'm looking for the levy stone.
Lame.
Yeah, you see the levy stone can make anything float in the air, which is the long sought after on this podcast float materia that we've been looking
Oh,
for.
that's right. Bugenhagen has it.
Yeah.
If you do go visit the Smythe the Smith, there's a bunch of swords laying on the ground, and if you try to...
Some swords by the fucking chimps.
Yeah, right. If you press A on one, it says, no! Exclamation mark. Like, I was like, oh shit, I'm so sorry. And he goes, that's just an unusable sample. Like, oh, all right. It's like the weapons in Wu Tai in the store when you go there, and he's like, oh, we don't have any weapons. Oh, these weapons? Those are samples.
Oh yeah, That's really funny. I didn't do that. That's very brave of you to hit A on the swords that are there, knowing that if you hit A on something that doesn't like matter, it's just like nothing.
Yeah.
With the long text box. That's gotta suck in a speed run.
You just don't interact with anything on a speed run.
Yeah, and then we have my favorite dialogue in any Final Fantasy game since what is it in Final Fantasy 9? Old guy who talks about needing to take a shit.
Yeah, silly old man.
Silly old man needing to take a shit. This has since become my favorite piece of dialogue in any Final Fantasy game, which is just, huh? This noise? Oh, Grandpa Nelix at his rock busting again. Like I know we read that last episode, but like that will never not make me. Busting makes me feel good.
I wanted to bring up the busting rock, by the way. So 2 tiles away from the bottom leftmost sword is an anvil. Is this the busting rock?
Oh.
That's a good question. I kind of just assumed that the busting rock was actually the anvil, but I think that might be the busting
That's
rock.
what I said.
Oh,
no, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
I thought you. I'm sorry. I thought you said that.
No.
They have this one rock.
There's like a hammer above it, and then the anvil, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's the busting rock!"
It's the legend has foretold.
There's this one rock where if you look at it in the right light and you squint a little, it looks like a boob.
They had to censor that in the American version when they brought it over. That's what like old school Nintendo QA used to be, is they would have like their QA testers squint at the pixels and make sure they couldn't see any kind of like pornography or anything.
Yeah.
It's like early Dragon Ball where they were just like, okay, well, Goku's dick is out in this part, so we need to put like a little bush that it clearly is just like moving and isn't a part of the original still, but you know what? Like, we're gonna just go for it. Bulma's actually showing her belly button. That's somehow less awful to include on this child's TV show.
You just reminded me that I'm still paying for Funimation.
Yo, really? Let me get that login. Quick, Dave, while we're live on Twitch and also on a podcast, give me your password to Funimation.
You know my password.
Actually, no, I already know
it's
your password.
Poop butt. I'm not going to say the numbers, but it's poop butt. Find my email, cowards.
So Smythe also mentions about when I talked to him, like, if I could have some of the legendary metal adamantite.
Yeah.
Adamantite.
So that's
I'd be able
thing,
to
though.
make such a magical sword. Yeah. So I'm guessing we eventually will come back to this to maybe get a cool weapon.
So thus far, I don't think we've run into any. I guess the Dark Elf. We ran into the Dark Elf because the Dark Elf will reoccur. There will be a Princess Sarah in number 3. I feel like this is the third thing that reappears in the Final Fantasy games. So like Adamant is going to be a thing forever. Like it starts at number 1 and it is going to continue.
There's also like the turtle enemies that are like the adamantoys that you can usually like steal or mug from to get adamantine or whatever it is.
Adamantite.
Adamantite, adamantine,
twinkling
adamant.
titanite.
It changes in each game, but
Yeah.
You can just make a Wolverine in the.
Yeah, you use it to.
have any of you played 15?
No, it's similar
There's
to my story
15?
about Final Fantasy 12.
Wait,
played
how
the
many
first-
are there? I thought there was 12. I thought there was 12. I heard Final Fantasy 12. There's 15?
I played the first chapter in 13 and 13 portable version. I don't know.
15
No.
basically
There's
demos.
only 7. The newest one that's coming out is Final Fantasy 7.
All
Okay,
right,
that
well,
makes sense.
I kind of feel like don't spoil it for yourselves. Don't look up Adamantoys in 15 until you actually do it, and it will be absolutely fucking breathtaking.
I know
when it happens.
what you're talking about. I remember seeing that going around when
I know. I saw it and I was like, get the fuck out. What?
I remember seeing that and Top Ramen when Final
Yeah,
Fantasy
right.
15 was a thing. Now all we got is Butterfinger. So nimble fingers, indeed.
I get it. This is all references I understand.
But
Final
for
7,
Final
right?
Fantasy 15, I have day 1 edition somewhere around here, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna play
Nice.
this soon, and here we are. So
Wait, so Final Fantasy 7.
I had to
the
start
new-
a podcast so that I could play every Final Fantasy game on my fucking backlog. So we're back on the high wind.
So the bottom of this
It's
game-
fine. It's fine. I get to edit this.
So there's a dwarf in the bottom. I guess this is Narek or Nelik. And when you
Neris.
talk to him, he says, "Oh, wonderful, nice work. Yes, indeed. That's the TNTs, just what I need to finish my canal. Now excuse me while I get to work." And he runs off and detonates TNT underground under some water. Very safe.
Yeah, is there like a little cutscene in yours?
No.
Yeah, I got a
'Cause
cutscene. It was cool.
There's a cute little cutscene in
Actually, let me
the-
bounce it. Hold on. I'm gonna
Ooh, here it comes.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
there's literally nothing in mine. Like, I had to go, I actually, like, walked around the cave for a while being like, do I need to make anything happen?
Yeah, so like you hear the explosion, and then it shows like this kind of cute little like frame thing. You see it like collapse, and there's a sound effect, and then it zooms out to the map where you see it.
You get a big
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, it's kind of like almost like a slideshow. Like there's not a whole lot of animation going on. It's kind of just like a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, it's basically like this with a few more frames.
Yeah. There's
then you
like
see the sploosh.
there's like at least 15 frames. It's real nice.
Real
It's
nice.
real,
I'm sure
real.
with you, Curtis, it's just this thing.
Well, actually, on mine, it's nothing. There's literally no animation whatsoever.
Oh, so you have no idea what it actually does?
Exactly. Yeah, you just have to
Use
have
the-
noticed
Sounds
that
about
there
right.
was something there earlier.
I'm gonna call attention to something that I'm just noticing now.
Yes.
If you look at Dave's name on the Zoom meeting, it's Dave,
Great, Dave. Yeah.
Great Dave, or Green Dave.
It's green, actually.
It's green.
Grape.
He's a big fan of Green Day.
I wish I knew that before naming my character, so I could make like.
Oh yeah, wait, we never even asked you like what party you're rolling with or what names you have.
I could show you.
Yeah, show it.
I
Show
have it
it.
just open. I don't want it
More
all...
for Alex to edit.
So I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you all but the top one. I'm gonna.
Oh, I like your little. Hang on, how
Top
do we
one
get it?
says Funimation password.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
It's poop butt.
Is this a Papa Roach? Oh, no,
P
wait.
PP Roach.
It's PP Roach HBSTNK
There it is.
LIMPBZ.
Limp Bizkit.
Corn.
And corn.
And corn.
LIMP. Biscuit is right here.
Yeah. So that's
Hell
my
yeah.
party. I have so Korn is a warrior, Limpiz is a thief, Hoobastank is a white mage, and Papa Roach is a black mage.
Hell yeah, that's a good party.
Makes sense to me.
It is a party.
Good enough for you. It's good enough for me.
It's a party at a weight room in 2005. We're ready.
Yeah, so we made a canal now, apparently.
Yeah, and now we can take the ship to Melmond.
Yeah, which again,
Melman.
again, like
Almond.
on our like spreadsheet for what we're doing for these episodes, it was just like Astos, like Dwarf Cave and Melmont. But like for some reason I was just like, oh, I gotta get to Melmont to finish this episode, and like had no idea how to get there. And I spent a good long while just like going around being like, how the fuck do I get to Melmont? Like no one tells you like, oh, you need to change the Earth. No, I was looking at the map, and like no one tells you like, oh, you have to change the Earth to create a canal. Like again, just kind of not really like the game doesn't really like tell you what you're supposed to do.
You gotta rot the Earth, buddy.
You gotta rot that Earth.
You rot the Earth.
Is there a map in the game? Like
yes, so the broom tells you.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
So if you hold down B and hit select, a map will pop up.
I fucking love Final Fantasy 1 because like we were in real time doing
this
like
shit. You gotta be kidding me. Dude, I've had my phone next to me Googling the whole fucking time.
My favorite thing about Googling Final Fantasy 1...
Because I didn't talk to a cleaning fucking apparatus. This game is stupid and I hate it.
You literally sound like me from last episode, because the last episode I was like,
I listened to that episode.
That's how you open the map?
Dude, this is
so good.
stupid.
Like this is awesome because this is like classic NES shit where it's like playground rules where it's like, oh yeah, Dave, you didn't know about the map. Like you guys are like, oh, you didn't know about the canal and stuff. Like I love like having that feeling again. Because the other thing about Final Fantasy 1 that I've noticed is like the internet is kind of sparse with like details that you can get with it. Like there's still like the fandom and everything, but it doesn't really lay everything out as much as it did for Final Fantasy 7. Like, we can't just pull up the Yinza and be like, oh, here's all the dialogue that we need. Like, I have to actually take pictures of my fucking Vita to get, like, the dialogue that I have and hope my iPhone doesn't fuck it up.
Right.
Or if the shutter goes off.
Yeah, exactly. The flash is on.
I, for one, think it's stupid.
So I just get this bullshit. It was a cool cutscene, but...
That's your new profile picture.
We
sorry, Maiko. I can't use your great drawing of me anymore. I have to use this busted ass picture.
we tried to do what am I saying? Not Final Fantasy at all. We tried to do Friday the 13th by these same rules.
Yes, we did. We drew up a map. Did not help us beat that game because that game is difficult.
It's a tough game.
We spent more time drawing the map than we did actually playing the game.
And we drank beers and we needed bottle caps
to mark where we like lit the Friday the 13th for NES. That's a good Dave and I are going to do a spin-off podcast about that where we talk about the lore of why Mark is the best character in that game. Is it Mark? I can't remember. It doesn't matter.
It sucks. It's just
we do need
that
to
game's actually racist.
Yeah, but we should also like stream it and beat it. But anyway, so we got the canal and now we can make our way to Melmont. I'm really good at segues. This podcast has taught me one thing. It's
good old Segway Carl.
Good old Segway Carl. Okay,
so we head over there.
Yeah, so there's a dock right beside it, and as you go into it,
no castle in this town.
No.
Yeah, this town is kind of lacking in facilities as well.
This town is straight busted.
It's the lavender town of Final Fantasy.
It's true.
Yeah, if you listen to the theme too much, you die. It's the same theme as every other town, but it doesn't matter.
Its main export is sadness.
So as soon as you walk into it in the NES version, there's a couple tombstones, like a little graveyard, right out front. And there's
hella tombstones.
There's hella tombstones in this town. But I like that in the NES version, you go talk to it.
It's just like New Jersey.
I like when you go talk to it.
When you drive down the parkway and there's that one just giant graveyard, right? I love that. Continue.
That.
Sorry, Curtis.
Yeah, you're good.
Shout out to that graveyard. It kicks ass.
The text says, "This is a tomb." And I'm like, it's not a tomb. It's a tombstone. That's not what that is.
Yeah, for mine, and there's tombstones lining every wall. And every time I try to talk to one, it says, "You see a tombstone." Or gravestone.
Yeah, I didn't even think to look at them, even though we had the thing where it was like Erdrick or Link and stuff. It's like Samus is dead here from Metroid.
Well, you said
wink, wink.
There's one very important NPC in this town, at least in the NES version, that says, "I am Jim."
Yes.
And then he continues on, "My home is in Dwarf Village, but I'm here investigating." So this is an investigative reporter named Jim.
And he's a dwarf, right?
Yes.
How is Jim spelled? This is very important. How is Jim spelled?
Jim.
That sucks. So in mine, he says, "I'm Jim, the dwarf. I've come to investigate the cause of the Earth's decay." and his name is spelled Jim with 2 M's. So I'd like to think that like when they were like porting this game to like Game Boy or like PlayStation or whatever, they were like, okay, well this guy's name's Jim, but that doesn't really sound high fantasy enough. So make it something a little snappier.
Well,
and then like the supervisor walks out of the room and everyone at the conference table is just like, so is Jim with 2 M's cool with everyone? They're like, yeah, it's good.
They've done that with multiple characters throughout Final Fantasy too, because like sometimes in Japanese, English names sound cool, but to us they're just like average names, right? So like
Jim.
in Final Fantasy VI, the main character's name is Tina, and like we know her as Terra, right? And then I think Sabin is just Mash, like in Japanese.
I love that show.
In the Game Boy Advance, they're like, fuck all that shit. Let's get crazy. And that's why we get this dialogue. Where he says,
is my name?
Oh, hell yeah.
Watts is my name.
I've gone all the way here from Druga to find out the Springfield. Oh, wait, no. The Springhild of the Earth's Decay.
Springton. It's actually Springfield.
Springfield. It's a hell of a town.
Yeah.
So that's what I was going to bring up, that, like, we get this one dwarf, and it's just kind of like,
What the
the
fuck
fuck's going on? But it's really interesting that, I don't know, when they were like, hey, you get Game Boy Advance, you get to translate, and he's like, you know what, all of it's okay, but Jim, fuck that. We're going hard on Jim. Jim's getting a full remodel.
Personally, I think Jim with 2 M's is the best.
Yeah.
So we do.
Jim with 2 M's is the evolved form of Jim from The Office, where he becomes CIA.
There's a couple
becomes a goddamn cop.
If you use a Firestone, he becomes Watts.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Thunderstone. Thunderstone would be Watts.
Yeah, Thunderstone would be Watts. Yeah.
I didn't want to call him on it, but I'm glad someone
Thank
did.
you for... Okay, thank you.
I was like, he's a guest. I won't.
There's a couple NPCs in this town who also tell us about Sarda. Is that name in y'all's game? Sarda the
Let me
Sage.
see. Long ago, an ancient civilization.
Oh, yeah.
fallen
In ours, it's Sada.
Sada?
Sada? Like Sadda.
Okay. 2 M's, 2 D's.
Whatever.
So yeah,
Give some, take some.
there's Sada, Sarda,
I don't-
the Sage. We hear about them for the first time.
Oh, the sage. Yeah.
Yeah. And we know 2 things about them from the NES version. That if we go south through the Titan's cave, we can find them, and that they do not fear the evil of the cave. Because some NPC just, like, their entire dialogue box is, Sarda does not fear the evil of the cave.
That's so fucking
And
good.
I was like, yo,
That's so
Sarda
good.
doesn't afraid of anything. That's incredible.
F fights aliens.
We get none of that. I think in ours it just says, in the cave of the southern tip of this continent lives a man named Sada. He is a wise man who knows much.
Got you.
That's it.
Yeah, I have, to the south of this town is a peninsula called the Devil's Tail, which is fucking rad.
Nice.
You'll find the Terra Cavern there. The closer you went to that cave, plants grew healthier and yielded more. That seems like ages past.
Interesting.
So I don't know.
That's good. I like that as lore.
Yeah, it's nice little lore. Did you guys meet a doctor in town
Yes.
at all? Yeah. So in mine, he says, I'm Dr. Une.
Yep. that's
But
the
I'm
name
sure
of it.
you already knew that already.
Yeah.
What? You didn't? Impossible. So I guess he'll be important later.
I think,
Maybe.
if I remember right from playing this game a while back, you do come back to this town a couple times. So
Yeah, I mean,
he
it
may
makes
be
sense.
somebody that we talk to. Yeah, I feel like anybody who's named, with the exception of Arilon the dancer, is like an important character.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, yeah, this might be important later, but it could be like Arilon.
We got to remember Une, and we got to remember Jim.
Oh, I got
Yeah, Une and Jim.
There's an NPC we talked. I'm not sure Dave probably talked to him, but he said
Get called out, Dave.
the vampire attacked, destroying our church and leaving our city in shambles. There's nothing we can do to stop the ruination of the earth. And it was like, I
pretty
don't
good.
only consider vampires as like destructive creatures, the ones who just destroy an entire city.
So
Yeah.
all right. So
Yeah,
there-
everyone knows that vampires aren't destructive.
Yeah, they just want to, like, fuck everyone.
That lean.
Just like, yeah, they just want to suck on your neck and just fuck some broads.
True. Classically what they do.
there is a
Not my words.
So wait,
the vampire's words.
I know I already said this in this episode about the busting rock being my favorite dialogue, but this is a close second because this dialogue in my version of the game just reads exactly like a drill tweet. Are you guys ready for it? You guys ready
I'm
for
ready.
it? The Titan in the cave eats rocks. Precious gems are his favorite. He can eat them forever. It's so
Imagine
good.
meeting somebody for the first time and you're like, hello, I just walked into your town. And he's like, let me tell you about this rock eating dude.
Your town looks like shit. And he's just like, he can eat those rocks forever.
We get a lot of vampire stuff though.
So an interesting localization thing. In the NES version, originally, so like the places that you go to revive your characters are churches. That's what they are. And so when the dev team was first making the game, they made a vampire, and it was like, okay, well, a vampire would hate churches because it crosses or whatever. And so the vampire came into town and destroyed the church, right?
Ate all the rocks.
Respect.
But in my game, it's a clinic. And so in my game,
So
vampires
that's fucked up.
canonically hate hospitals, I guess. They're just like, ugh.
It's like Doctors Without Borders. Fuck y'all.
Yeah, fuck these. So, fuck that vampire.
Damn, yeah, fuck this vampire. I do like how they're like setting the scene for like a boss fight where they're talking about this vampire and you're like, yo, we will
Yeah.
find this fucking vampire and we will kill his fucking ass.
Yeah, I know.
What is a man?
The other important piece of information I think we get from this town, besides the characters and the vampire, is the information that somebody says if you can make the earth crystal shine again, then the earth will stop rotting. And so that's the first time we've been given like kind of a mission in the game. Like right now we're kind of just on a mission to go save the world, and we don't know what to do exactly to make that happen. And I feel like this is the first time somebody's actually been like, hey, this is actually how you reverse this. This is how you beat the game, you know what I mean? You need to go make the crystals shine again, polish them up real good.
Yeah. There is another bit of lore going back to that levy stone, the float material that we were talking about. Long ago, an ancient civilization flourished in the northern lands. Now it's fallen into ruin. They say that the ancients used some kind of rock to launch their ships into the air. The Titan in the cave. Oh, they just went right back to the drill tweet.
Yeah.
So we have more about the
This
float
town
material.
is absolutely lousy with information.
I think I just read 2 separate NPCs things back to back, but
It's all right. They're
doesn't
connected,
matter.
so it works.
it doesn't matter. Yeah.
It's like the developers like decide like, how do we connect all this new stuff? Like, I guess we could just make a town that's just full of exposition and nothing else.
Yeah, that's. I feel like that's kind of what they did, right?
So here's my favorite thing about this town. When you walk in, it has the exact same town theme as every other town, but it's destroyed. Like there's been a lot of lore of like, oh well, this is where the rot is, like the rot of the earth is like the worst. This is kind of like the epicenter. Like this is where it's all shit's gotten real quick.
The live
and you
stream's
walk in,
getting sucked right up.
Yeah, you walk in and it's still the same nice like town theme that you know. It's like if this was Final Fantasy VII, you would walk in and it would be like Heart of Anxiety or something playing, but instead
Right.
it's just like,
Well, and the
and
ground's
you walk
all
up in the
busted
first
up too.
yeah, but the first NPC you talk to is just like, bless the crystals. And you're like, all right. I mean, I'm glad they're making the most of it, you know? Maybe they know something we don't.
I also heard about, what do we hear about? I've heard of that the ancients possess something with the power to make a ship float in the sky. Ooh, I'm excited
Coming
for
up
that.
on an airship.
We might need the
Some
floater
sort of
for that.
high wind.
So the only like gameplay mechanic, I guess, type thing I'd point out about this town is that there's an armor shop here, and you can buy the steel armor, which is fucking expensive. It is 45,000 gil, and
Woof.
I ran around and leveled up and grinded, and I got all the money from all the treasure chests, and I have 31,000. Still don't have enough for it, so it's
Damn.
spency.
I think ours is knight's armor, and it's 36,000.
Damn, I think I just didn't go to that shop because I don't have any
Casuals.
screenshots of it, but I had quite a bit amount of gil from the Peninsula of Power at this point, but I ended up just using it on like good like level. What level is it here? Level 5 black and white magic.
Oh, you know what? I did not take pictures of the magic. Do you have them?
I do.
I have
So
some in mine.
yeah, so
too.
like it'll be different names in Curtis's, but one of the most important ones that I bought immediately upon seeing it is Life 1.
Yes.
So I can finally fucking revive people without having to walk all the way back to a town.
super
Yeah.
important.
I got
yeah, so
Kuraga.
Yep.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so Cure 3 or Curaga, Dia 3 or Diaraga,
Diaga.
and then Heal 2, which is the whole party thing, which is a
Right.
more powerful one. So
Healara.
it's really good. With the black magic, there's Fire 3, which I don't think I picked up, but I need to because that sounds kick-ass. There's poison, which weirdly I was like, oh, poison, it'll just poison an enemy. That's nothing.
It's
really.
a one-hit KO in this game, right?
Weird.
Yeah, because poison level 5 for 8,000 gil. The like little tagline for it, the little blurb is instantly annihilates foes.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's an instant death spell.
oh shit. Yeah, that sounds incredible. And there's warp 1, which warps the party to the it warps the party to the previous floor. So this is like a passive spell, I guess. You don't really use it in battle, but if you're in, like 5 levels down in a dungeon and you don't feel like walking all the way back up, you can just use warp to go up to the next floor.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah. So, but the problem with this is it can only be used by a red wizard or a black wizard, and I don't have one of those yet.
Oh,
So we're
yeah.
kind of finally starting to see, like, mechanically, like, oh, there's going to be a job upgrade.
Yeah.
My Charmander is going to evolve into a Charmeleon.
Is there another black magic, or was that all 4?
Yeah, and then there's slow too.
Oh, slow too. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and ours, I think the poison or whatever. What was the instant death one?
Yeah,
It's
poison.
named
Poison.
something
It's called Scourge in ours.
Scorch. That's what it
That's
was.
way cool.
Yeah.
That makes way more sense.
It's cool.
That's not something that's already been happening to my party always, where I'm like, I'm not spending 8,000 on that.
Yeah,
Fuck that.
right.
And then I'm like, oh, wait. Oh,
Yeah, we
wait, I'm
have-
enticed.
Firaga, Scourge, Transport, and
Mine is teleport.
Slowra.
Okay.
Teleport. Yeah, that makes sense.
Teleport. That's what it is.
Yeah, that makes sense. Those are all the same things, yeah.
Yeah.
So a better fire spell, though, is there too, we were saying. Is that right?
Yeah. Fire 3, I think. The
Firaga.
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 Firaga. There's also another really good thing of dialogue where another reason why I was like skeptical of the poison and the description on it is outside of the black magic shop, there's just a female NPC, and she says, "Hiya, handsome. Why don't you stop by my pop's shop?" Which is like, hey, go into it's very similar to the Junon shop
that's right.
in
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII, where they're like, hey, handsome, you should spend all your money.
It's like
here."
the world's ending, so I hired more girls to hang out in my store, but
Respect.
no, I'm not making any money. Yeah.
My favorite is the one female that just says, "I'm just a farmer."
Oh yeah. I have that as well. I'm a farmer and I'm real proud of it. And it just made me think of the song by Turquoise Jeep, "Naughty Farmer."
It's
Call
just
me Naughty
it's
Farmer. I
so
grow
weird
straight
because this whole city, everybody's just being like, "You want story? You've been missing it. Here we go." And then one person's just like, "Yeah, I farm."
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's the most important story of all.
I'm a simple farmer.
I love farming.
But that's
Yeah.
gameplay wise, that's where we're leaving it today, pretty much, huh?
Yeah.
I
There
think
is
that's it,
the
right?
inn, but I noticed usually the inns have like one room for beds and one room for like some dudes.
For like square dancing.
On mine, it's a menu. The inns don't actually have interiors.
Oh, okay. Really?
Yeah, it just takes you to a menu.
That kicks
Oh,
ass.
that's a bummer. But yeah, and on mine it was I think inns usually have like one room that has 4 beds for us and one room that has like some guys square dancing or some wizards.
Yeah,
But
like a tutorial thing where you can talk to people and they're like, "Here's how you open the menu," and you're like, "Okay."
on this in this inn there's 4 beds and then 6 more beds, so I'm assuming that the entire town sleeps here.
Oh wow.
Yeah, maybe so.
That's a lot
So
of beds.
I didn't look at that.
No more
the
beds
other
in the
room.
clinic.
I only saw 4 beds. There might be 6 in my version as well. Let's see. Let's see how close I am to it in real time. And time.
There it is.
We're at in percent.
In percent.
Wait, is
Nice.
it opposite sides?
No, it's the same. My camera just might be
No, it's the same.
flipped.
Okay.
It's the same to
Okay,
me.
it looks the same. Yeah, but I mean, so we made it to Melmont. We have our
Melmont.
goals for next time. We're gonna kick the shit out of a fucking Dracula.
That's right.
And I think that's about it for this week, right?
Next week on Every F and FF.
We'll be hanging out in the Earth Cave a lot next week.
Oh god, should I just start grinding tonight?
Yeah,
We're going
may
to
as
Ruby
well.
Weapons' house.
We're gonna go into the Earth Cave. Then we're gonna leave the Earth Cave.
We're gonna
Go
bust on some rocks.
We're gonna bust on some rocks. We're gonna go into the Titan's Cave, out of the Titan's Cave, back into the Earth Cave, and all the way to the bottom of the Earth Cave.
Let's fucking go.
Okay,
So-
so I'm level 20, and when we started to get back to Melmont, I was in the Earth Cave, and fuck the Earth Cave. So if that makes you feel a certain way,
Hell yeah. Get
Well-
to level 20.
My advice for FF1 is to not feel bad about running away from things. Just liberally run away from shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I
my
haven't yet.
For sure.
Yeah, that's the way to handle caves.
And I think we talked about it in the first dungeon that we went to, where there's certain, like the slime enemies or whatever, they are just damage sponges and they are not worth fighting because they don't give you that much and they just fucking suck.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to get that kind of information now.
I hate that goo.
Hey, we're still
guys.
early enough in the game.
Yo, there's only one kind of good goo, and it's the Goo Goo Dolls.
That's right, man.
That's right.
Hop in my PT cruise.
So why don't you slide?
A boom doom dang, da doom doom dang.
I don't know if I've ever made this known like publicly, but I fully intend on stealing the riff from Slide by the Goo Goo Dolls for a song. Because that song is riff is way too fucking good for the Goo Goo Dolls. So one day I'm going to release a song that's just like a complete like Total Music fucking champs kind of like shreddy sort of thing. But at one point in it, it's just going to have that riff to some capacity. Like exactly. I'm going to try to match the tone as much as possible and just include that in it. And just, that's going to be my song.
Call it White Castle Slider.
Because I love that fucking riff. And I'm going to like release it for free. So what the fuck are they going to do? Try and sue me? Sue me, Goo Goo Dolls. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, look at your
I don't have
camera
any
while you
money.
say it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I have no money.
You look like something Aerosmith shit out. Fuck you. Fuck you, Goo Goo Dolls.
Yeah, Goo Goo Dolls
Come
do look
fight
like
me.
shit. Watching their music videos is very jarring.
This
You're like,
podcast
this is what
really
these dudes
turned on
look
the
like.
Goo Goo Dolls over the last couple minutes.
More like the Goo Goo Dongs.
I gotta go
right?
listen to some goo
Fuck you
after
guys.
Oh, boy.
So yeah, Dave, thank you for coming on our episode, our stream, our podcast.
Dave, thank you so much.
Tell
you
us about
guys
your
for having me.
podcast because
My favorite podcast.
I'm sure Carl has mentioned it.
It's called Calling All Creeps. It's a Goosebump literary review podcast. We read the books so you don't have to. And it's a literature professor, a college literature professor, and myself.
Master's degree, I believe, right?
Yeah. And we're going through every Goosebumps book from 1 on. If you go and look at it now, depending on when this is released,
It's like 2 days.
in 2 days.
Yeah.
Okay, so our last episode won't make sense because we're recording on April 1st. So every April Fool's, we pull on one of Carl's buddies, Ed/Theo.
Shout out to Theo.
We do a fake episode of Billy's School Dropouts, which is like the shitty 90s kids horror, which is terrible. So that's the most recent episode. But if you skip that, the joke, you'll get an episode with Carl for R.L. Stein's least favorite book, The Barking Ghost.
I had the book. Oh, here it is. Yeah,
And let me tell you, it fucking sucks. It sucks. And we give him credit where credit's due. We know it's for children, but sometimes it's bad. But
yeah, and also like R.L.
Sometimes
Stein.
it's bad.
Sometimes it's bad. Ain't
bad.
that just the way? R.L. Stein has also said that he doesn't really give a shit about like substance of writing. He just wanted to get kids to read, so
Yeah.
you can't really hold it too much against him that his book sucks shit. But you know,
And
it was a
we
fun
went
time.
to a live conference with him and the original artists, so there's a whole interview kind of like reaction with that too. But just look through our stuff. It's Calling All Creeps Pod on Instagram, or you can just look to Calling
Check
All
the
Creeps
show notes.
Yeah.
Check the show
Cool.
notes.
But thank you guys for having me, longtime listener.
Thank you.
I think I'm going to
Thank you so
listen
much.
more because I'm not going to play the games, so I don't have to like give up at a certain point.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII, after the whole shit where you like follow Sephiroth around to get the dialogue in that mansion,
Mhm.
at the end, I walked through like the cave or whatever
Yeah.
to like get Tifa back or something. And for some reason, the Switch, there was like an error and it just quit. So it dropped me at the beginning of that whole dialogue again, and I quit. I was like, fuck this. I'm not following Sephiroth around in a mansion for another half an hour. So I stopped.
Yeah, I think we talked about it a little bit, Curtis and I, where the Switch would just randomly have weird errors. I think at one point, I probably don't have it anymore, but I had like videos of like getting to the top of Shinra Tower and talking to Aerith, and it just being like, bam, 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 and just like playing a loop over and over again where my dialogue was frozen. I was like, fuck.
Yeah,
So,
that's great.
I mean,
So I went through like the
Just
most
save often.
dialogue heavy section, and then it was like, "You ready for round 2?" To which I
that's
said,
a fair
no.
point. That's a fair place to quit.
I'm good.
Yeah, if it's anything like the time I bought you Dark Souls, you will quit several times and then finally go back to it and then finally beat it and then decide to do another run of it where you're just punching the shit out of everything.
Hey, man.
With try hard strats.
Drew Parry is nothing to mess with.
Drew Perry.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Hell yeah.
All right. Follow all of us on our social meds. I'm Twirling Curtis on everything. Twitch.tv.com/TwirlingCurtis. Twitter.com/TwirlingCurtis. It's everywhere. Ooh, baby.
Everywhere.
How about y'all?
Yeah, you can follow me at twitch.tv/CarlGerm if you want. I do Dark Souls speedruns. I've been getting pretty good. I got a 47-minute speedrun the other day, and it was still a
Nice.
bad run, so I'm hoping for a sub 40 soon.
Hell yeah.
Dave, where can people find you?
You can find me at CreepyNJ, CR33PY, and then Shelf Life NJ for some things. I'm trying to release a toy line soon. All the conventions that were supposed to be releasing, all of them have been canceled, including 5 Points, which is basically Decon East. So we'll have some more info coming soon.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm Malform on all the things, which is MAL4M. I'm lately just been tweeting a lot about Animal Crossing.
Hell
I know
yeah.
that life. Me and Dave know that life. Curtis.
Yeah, we got to go catch some of those scorpions. Tarantulas
Scorpions
are over.
just switched over. Tarantulas are canceled.
The scorpions are rough. They do a lot of damage and give you poison, though.
Yeah, that you get poisoned. Exactly. I feel so bad for Curtis. Curtis doesn't.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about your fucking little Animal Town game.
Quick, Curtis, Tekken.
Tekken. I'm gonna play some. I'm really
Tekken,
bad at it.
Tekken.
I literally I used to be decent at it, and I was able to go through some ranks and shit. And yesterday, I was like, I haven't played in a couple months. I'll pop back onto it, and lost so many times in a row. I went right back down to the very bottom rank, and I was like, well,
Ain't that just the way? Do you have a fight stick for Tekken?
I do. My plan is to take a really depressing Peter Bruegel the Elder picture and actually make it the cover for my fight stick.
Oh hell yeah! That's a
We
good.
should all do a group stream again, but Carl and me will be playing Animal Crossing in 2 corners, and you'll be playing Tekken in another corner.
I love it.
We can probably get that going.
Yep.
Make it happen. I want to watch that.
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah. All right.
And Dave will be playing Minecraft while listening to the Goo Goo Dolls.
Featured music throughout is by Nubobo Metsu. I'm not sure what console I'm using this week. I've been kind of rotating. Last week we definitely used the Wonder Swan, or no, we used the MSX version, which sounded really cool.
Oh, lush.
They were beefy. Leave us a review on iTunes. I already said that.
Leave Calling All Creeps a review, 5-star review, and you can get murdered on their podcast.
It's true.
Yeah, go listen to It from Beneath the Sink.
Alex, you're going to bleep that out. I also want the record to show last time we were recording, I was telling Alex about how it's No Nut 2020 on
Nut
Calling All
2020.
Creeps, and they have to bleep out every time they use the word cum or came or anything.
Or
And they were
change
doing
it.
the episode about It from Beneath the Sink. So every time they mention the title, they bleep it out. And Alex was laughing so hard at that he threw up.
Are you serious?
I'm
Yeah.
dead serious.
It was rough.
Yeah. People told us that we use too many words for male excrement on a children's literature podcast. So we decided this year, no more. We're going to bleep it out.
Dump, 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 dump.
And then 2021 is going to come hard.
It's going to come in your fucking mouth, dude. It's going to be nuts.
You gotta bleep out nuts, too.
No, we call it no nuts, so we're good with that.
As I mentioned before, we have a hotline now where you can leave us a message. Dave did. It's 530 Materia.
It's literally a phone number that you can call and leave us a message. So do
You
it.
can. I had to let someone know who was texting it, who was saying, "I'm hoping you're safe. I love you," and stuff like that. I had to you have the wrong number. I'm sorry.
You have the wrong number.
But thank you.
But rate our podcast 5
I really hope you find who you're looking for.
That's
And we also
amazing.
hope they're safe.
Yeah, be safe, y'all. I did the theme song this season.
Hells yeah.
We have a TeePublic now, which we have some shirts up there. They have sales all the
Vinyl
time.
Fantasy.
You can get a
Vinyl
Vinyl Fantasy
Fantasy.
shirt. You can get a Winners Don't Read shirt. I might commission something else because I'm not a great illustrator. We might get I totally forgot her name already.
Maiko.
Yeah, might get Maiko to help out with.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Maiko for doing our new avatars for our website. and
They look
stuff.
so good.
Yes. But yeah, our TeePublic link is at the top of our website, everyfnff.com, and at the bottom. But yeah, absolutely. I think that'll do it.
Yep. Stay safe,
That'll
everybody.
boo it.
Take care of yourselves.
Stay inside. Wash your fucking hands.
Wash your hands. Stay
There's no getting
inside.
off this train.
Call your friends and neighbors and see if they need anything. If you have the ability to help with it.
If you have older neighbors, maybe slide a note under their door. Like, take the proper steps to make sure it's sanitized. Say like, hey, if you need groceries, I can go to the grocery store for you.
Yeah, a lot of people are out of work right now, so if you are working, it might be a good idea just to hit up your homies and be like, "Hey, can I get anything for you? Can I help
If you have
out?"
a mystic key, go take care of that for them too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Maybe rob a bank so that you can give money to your friends who are out of work, or you can just do what I do and stop paying off your debt, which is sizable, and squirrel that money away in case your homies need anything.
Right.
You make a killing selling tarantulas. While
Go to an island, dig up
offer some
all the
bells.
trees.
Offer the bells to those with less time.
Yeah,
To do so.
be safe, everyone. Seriously, crazy times, but now is the time for like solidarity and just togetherness and taking care of one another. So be good,
That's right.
be well.
Catch up on some video games.
True.
Do it or we'll beat your ass after this is all over.
If you haven't played FF7 yet, play along with us.
It'd be a great time.
You'll feel less alone, I think.
Yeah. All right. Take it easy, everybody.